A couple of ghost hunters say goodbye, a deadly trapmaker returns for round 11, and everyone knows what you did last summer. Grab your popcorn and get ready to hide under your blanket, as these horror movie sequels are set to release in 2025. While not a zombie film, it is the franchise that helped bring that subgenre back to the mainstream, launching a number of actors into American stardom in the process. And now it's coming back as a trilogy. 28 years later, the follow-up to 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later will be split into 3 parts, and the first one will be hitting theaters in 2025. It's directed by Danny Boyle, who helmed the first overall installment of the series. Alex Garland, who also penned the first movie, wrote the script. Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Jack O'Connell, Aaron Kellyman, and Ralph Fiennes all have unnamed roles in the film. Fiennes told IndieWire the movie will center around a young boy looking to cure his dying mother. They traveled together through northern England, where they find a doctor who might solve their worries. Naturally, they'll have to avoid or kill a whole lot of the infected to get there, as the rage virus still looms over England 28 years later. The film will scare up some thrills in the early summertime with a June 20th release. Looks like someone else has figured out what Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt did during that long ago summer in the 90s. The latest film in the I Know What You Did franchise will share a title with its originator and its 2021 series reboot, as well as continuity with the first 2 films in the series. But of course, there's a whole new group of teens who will soon meet the business end of the fisherman's meat hook. The movie is written by Jennifer Caton Robinson and Sam Lansky based on a screenplay by Leah McKendrick, and Robinson is also directing. Hewitt confirmed her return to the franchise in December, joining Prinze Jr. as the sometimes star-crossed lovers Julie and Ray. Among the actors joining them are Madeline Klein, Billy Campbell, and Chase Sui Wonders. No plot details have been released. I Know What You Did Last Summer hits theaters on July 18th. Get ready to flash those flashlights and wind up those music boxes. There's going to be a sequel to the big screen version of Five Nights at Freddy's. Series creator Scott Cawthon reported to Bloody Disgusting that the movie will trace the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the game, which introduces Balloon Boy and takes a deeper dive into the franchise's lore. Josh Hutcherson will be back as Mike Schmidt, and Matthew Lillard will be back as his evil rival William Afton. Hutcherson promises that the sky will be the limit for the sequel, telling Esquire, "There's more animatronics being brought in, different animatronics being brought in, and the world just opens up in a big way." Fans of the franchise well know that there are numerous other animatronics to appear in the sequel games that have yet to appear in the film universe. Presumably, the sequel will tell us what happened to Afton, last seen slowly dying in his Springtrap Freddy outfit.
I always come back.
Elizabeth Lail's Vanessa was also left lingering in a coma after the events of the film. Will those plot points be resolved? All will be revealed when moviegoers ring in the holidays with the Fazbear crew. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 will be released on December 5th. Another unfortunate group of strangers is set to become fortune's fools. Final Destination Bloodlines is in the works, and a whole lot of fresh faces are about to be turned into hamburger by some Rube Goldbergian devices, all courtesy of the Grim Reaper. The sequel was written by Laurie Evans Taylor and Guy Busick with John Watts. Direction will be provided by Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein. The ensemble cast includes Breck Bassinger, Teo Briones, Richard Harmon, and tons of other young stars ready to try and cheat death. This chapter is expected to come out May 16th, 2025. Producer Craig Perry posted to his Facebook that the series' 25th anniversary lies ahead, and he hopes it will come out in concert to celebrate that. Isn't it nice to have a friend? Everyone's favorite dancing doll is set to return in 2025, and she's taking on a whole new form since her plastic exterior experienced a literal meltdown in the first movie. While the plot for Megan 2.0 remains under wraps, what is known is that Violet McGraw and Allison Williams are slated to be back as Megan's ex-bestie Katie and her aunt Gemma respectively. Jenna Davis will also be back to voice Megan, and Brian Jordan Alvarez will reappear as Cole, with Jen Van Apps as Tess. Actors playing new characters include Ivana Sacco, Tim Sharp, Aristotle Latari, and Jermaine Clement. Akela Cooper has returned to write the screenplay, with Gerard Johnstone also back in the director's chair. Fans will have to wait until this summer to see how Megan begins her comeback tour. Initially scheduled for a January release, the movie has been pushed squarely into the 4th of July box office discussion and will be out on June 27th.
Perhaps then you might appreciate just how useful I can be.
It's time to say goodbye to the Warrens. The Conjuring Last Rites will allegedly be the last movie to focus on the fictionalized for the big screen adventures of Patrick Wilson's Ed and Vera Farmiga's Lorraine. But the Conjuring universe will obviously live on in some fashion through tales of Ed and Lorraine's cursed object collection, whether they be films about the nun or Annabelle the doll. In any event, franchise veteran David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick wrote the script for The Conjuring Last Rites, with additional work from Ian Goldberg and Richard Nonk. Michael Chaves returns to handle directing duties. The plot remains unreleased, but presumably it will be pulled from the case files of the real-life Warrens. Another bold prediction: the couple will continue to stay rock solid in the face of some truly heinous evil. Farmiga and Wilson will be joined by Mia Tomlinson as the couple's daughter, Judy, as well as Ben Hardy and Miko Hughes. The Conjuring Last Rites is set to be released on September 5th. Would you like to play yet another game? Saw fans have suffered through a lot, including a 7-year hiatus that was broken by the release of Jigsaw in 2017. Installments have been coming more frequently since then, and now Saw 11 stands on the brink of release. The film will sport a screenplay by Marcus Dunstan, and will be directed and co-written by Kevin Greutert. Plot details have not been released, but Dunstan told Bloody Disgusting that fans should expect the film to be biting with something to say. Producer Oren Kulis told SFX that it's quite possible the movie will take place in Mexico, where fans last saw Tobin Bell's John Kramer in Saw X. For anyone who hasn't been invested in the franchise, it should be noted that Saw X infamously stepped outside of the series' timeline to give audiences a midquel that takes place between the first and second films. No other cast members besides Tobin Bell, aka the Jigsaw Killer himself, are slated to return so far. Saw 11 will hit movie theaters on September 26th. A sleeper hit, The Black Phone explores what happens when Ethan Hawke's The Grabber, an insidious child killer, descends upon a small suburban Colorado town. A young boy named Finney, played by Mason Thames, is captured by the Grabber and must battle to retain his sanity and stay alive, guided by the spirits of the Grabber's previous victims. The Black Phone 2 will include the majority of the first film's cast, with Hawke, Thames, Madeline McGraw, Jeremy Davies, and Miguel Mora all set to reprise their roles. Demian Bichir will also be a part of the cast. C. Robert Cargill and Scott Derrickson will write the sequel script, and Derrickson returns to direct once more. No plot details have leaked yet, but fans of the series won't have to wait too much longer to find out what will happen if they answer the call. The Black Phone 2 is scheduled to drop on October 17th. Thread and Insidious Tale branches off of the main franchise to give audiences something entirely different from the Insidious universe. While the film series has mainly focused on a family in a constant battle with evil spirits, this one deals with the complicated power of magic, second chances, and messing with the past. The film will star Mandy Moore and Kumail Nanjiani, and it's being directed by Jeremy Slater, who also wrote the screenplay. The plot revolves around a couple played by Moore and Nanjiani, who use a spell to time travel into their distant past. Given the opportunity, the couple chooses to save the life of their dead young daughter, but the result isn't what they hoped for. Mayhem predictably follows in that special, insidious way. Threads and Insidious Tale is poised for release August 29th, 2025. The Micah Monroe character Jay Height has quite a following, and the horror fans will soon find out if those entities trailing her ever give up for good and they follow. Presumably, the movie will pick up 10 years in the future, and explore how an adult Jay is coping with life after a date sleeps with her just to pass on the entity, which relentlessly stalks his victims until they are dead. Unless the person passes it on through an act of sexual intercourse.
Just pass it along. If it kills you, it'll come after me. Do you understand?
Not much else is known about the movie as of this writing, but Monroe seems excited, as she told IndieWire, "I just know that David Robert Mitchell wouldn't do a sequel if it wasn't going to be incredible. And the script is so good. I'm obsessed. I'm just so excited to step into playing Jay again, and just where you find her, it's going to be great." They Follow is being directed by Mitchell, who directed the first film, and it will premiere sometime in 2025.